So just got done seeing Kraven, and you know, it really wasn't that bad of a movie. It was a fine, simplistic movie. Were there problems? Yes. Were they major problems? No. Was it still a fun film that can be enjoyed? Yes. But due to social media, YouTube, and everyone who can now voice their opinion on the internet, immediately that creates either hate or love for a film. And Kraven was hated from the get-go. And the reason why it was hated, because nerds, geeks, they always need to cry about something. They always need to cry about something. Sure, at first, I was a bit reluctant about this whole Sony-verse villains movie, whatever they were doing. But it just gets so tiresome of arguing with it. Like, you argue, you hate it, that does nothing. Just a waste of energy. And I think it's a good thing that they did these movies because they're trying to do something different, something new, something that has not been done before by focusing on villains. Oh, Spider-Man's not in it. Okay, you can watch Spider-Man movies. There's a whole heap of Spider-Man movies, whole heap of Spider-Man shows out there that you can watch. Spider-Man comics that you can read. Here they're trying to do something new with these villains of Spider-Man, making them into a solo movie. But for the most part, most of them I didn't like, but it's whatever. I'm not going to cry about it. But as for this movie, I thought it was fine. It was fine. Fine action scenes, fine fighting scenes. The story in this movie wasn't 100% clear. The motives were a little bit weak, but overall, I can still say I enjoyed watching this film. I didn't really like the Venom movies. The first one was okay, tolerable. Second one was meh, forgettable. Third one was really forgettable. Morbius, may have to see that one again. That one was okayish, badish, and I didn't, I didn't throw a hissy fit for that one. Madame Web, that one was boring. But this film, what it's about, it's Kraven the Manhunter who hunts. In this movie, he hunts people instead of animals. He hunts people, and the motives aren't really clear of what he wants or what's happening. I know it's all entwined with these scientists and these other people, other gangster people, and I'm not really sure what they want to do, but somehow Kraven gets involved and, they capture his brother, spoiler alert, and then he has to go and kill people. Rhino shows up and he dies. Production wise, movie was fine. One knock would be the CGI. You can tell the CGI was horrible. CGI was very horrible. You can just tell from the get go. It just looked bad. The animal CGI looked bad. When Craven's climbing up the walls, some of it looks really obviously bad as well. The dialogues and other characters, they were okay. Nothing, that stood out. I thought the Calypso girl was, she caught my eye. I thought we'd see more of her, but I guess she was just there for the eye candy because she didn't really do anything in that movie. One of the best highlights of the movie, I would say the fighting skills, the fighting scenes in this movie. Kraven's shown that he can go. This guy is a guy that can go. This guy is falling from 100-story feet buildings and not a scratch. taking hits and whatnot and not a scratch. So I liked his fighting scenes. I liked his ability. That was good. The moral of the story is pretty much, don't be hurting or hunting animals. And just don't do it for sport. And I agree with Kraven. Unless you want to go and hunt those dogs, man's best friend, go ahead, hunt those. But natural animals, they're off limits. They should be off limits. So moral of this is to not hurt natural animals. The villains in this was the Rhino, but this time I don't mind when they change things from time to time. But this time the Rhino was more of I don't know, a scientist, but he was more of a gangster type corporate kind of guy. His powers came from like a backpack, I guess. They didn't really explain how he got his powers per se, but he was sort of like Bane. Like Bane, puts on the tube thing in his mouth or whatnot, and he gets his powers. But Rhino is kind of like the same thing. He turns from human to this Rhino, but the Rhino in this isn't dumb. He isn't clumsy. He's pretty smart. He's pretty conscious. You only get to see the Rhino for maybe 7 minutes of the whole movie, just in the final fight scene, which I thought was good, because we see Kraven fighting people with his hand to hand, but here we have someone, the Rhino, who is invulnerable to knives. You can't punch him, you can't kick him, so Kraven must find a way to outsmart this thing, and he does, which was pretty good and funny. Overall, it's a fine movie. It's not the best movie, not the best superhero movies, but it doesn't have to be. You don't always have to have superhero movies that are the best. You don't always have to have superhero movies that are on the level of Infinity War. All you have to do is have a nice, simple movie, sit back and enjoy. But unfortunately, social media, the internet, YouTube, various reviewers can make you hate or love a film. They can manipulate and divert our attention to where it's not needed. So I'd give this movie a good. It's a good. I'll say 6.6 out of 10. A good 6.6 out of 10. It just needed a bit more story, I would say. More of Kraven being a badass, and just to explain the motives and the motive behind Rhino becoming the Rhino. As for the Sonyverse, as far as I know, I've heard, it's pretty much over, which is a good thing. But I would say secretly, I was actually interested to see what they could do with these characters as a lead. At first, hearing about it, you instantly jump on the hissy fit bandwagon of crying and whining about it. But after a while, it's like, maybe this is going to be interesting. Get to see a different perspective of these characters. We're so used to seeing them with Spider-Man or against Spider-Man. Here we have them now in a movie as a lead, as an anti-hero or hero, leading a movie, which is interesting. Now you can tell a brand new story that we've never heard of, which I think is fine. It's completely fine. And because we have already all these other Spider-Man properties, no one needs to complain. Like, why are we always complaining? But people do, but it's annoying. It's really annoying. I think we should judge movies on what we think. And mostly movies are nowadays are being judged on what some YouTuber thinks. Because everyone nowadays, they want to follow the herd. They want to be part of what's popular. Even if they hate a movie or love a movie, they just want to be part of who likes it the most. And as for me, I don't care. If I like a movie, I like it. If I hate it, I hate it. So, yeah. Anyways, good movie. As you know, the main lead played Kick-Ass, Quicksilver, and Kraven. It's kind of interesting because he played characters that starts with a K or has a K sound, like Quicksilver. Quicksilver has that K sound, that K sound. So it's no surprising that this guy was chosen for these characters for a reason. So I wouldn't be surprised when his time comes and we realize that he played a character called Kick-Ass, Kraven, and Quicksilver. So anyway, shout out to him, and I did a good job with the character. And I really hope he gets another superhero role, and hopefully maybe they'll continue with the superheroes or villains, but we'll see down the road. But anyways, that's it.